June 1944. The rumble reached SS Unterscharführer Benno Heisig even in his Panzer IV, a dull vibration through the steel hull that hinted at something colossal. News had come from the front. The Allies had landed. Like many in the 12th SS Panzer Division Hitlerjugend, Heisig, a tank gunner, felt a surge of adrenaline, perhaps even eagerness. He and his comrades, hardened by Hitler youth fanaticism and rigorous training, believed they were the spearhead, the chosen few destined to hurl the invaders back into the sea. Their Panthers and Panzer IVs were formidable, their morale unshakable. They were ready for the fight, utterly convinced of their own superiority. But the quiet anticipation wouldn't last. For weeks, German propaganda had painted a picture of the Anglo-American forces as soft, decadent, and incapable of facing the steel resolve of the Wehrmacht, let alone the elite Waffen-SS. High Command expected a landing, and the 12th SS, composed primarily of young, zealous volunteers from the Hitler Youth, was held in reserve, a powerful counterblow in waiting. Their orders were explicit: crush the invasion. Divisional Commander Kurt Meyer, Panzer Meyer, had famously declared, "We will throw them back into the sea." This was not mere rhetoric. It was a deeply ingrained belief, echoed across the ranks. They believed it, every last man. Then came the deployment, June 7th. A long, exhausting march towards Caen, constantly under harassment from invisible aircraft, the roads choked with refugees. Their progress was slow, frustrating. Finally, in the early hours of June 7th, elements of the 25th SS Panzer Grenadier Regiment clashed with Canadian forces from the North Nova Scotia Highlanders and the Sherbrooke Fusilier Regiment near Authie and Buren. The first engagement was a brutal shock. The Hitlerjugend Grenadiers, despite their fanaticism, were met with an unexpected ferocity. According to Canadian intelligence reports, the SS soldiers fought with extreme determination, but their uncoordinated attacks were costly. The enemy they expected simply wasn't there. The ensuing hours ripped away the illusion of an easy victory. Heisig, in his Panzer IV, pushed forward through small French villages, the air thick with the smell of cordite and burning farmhouses. Canadian anti-tank gunners, particularly with their potent 6-pounders and devastating 17-pounders, were not the amateurish opposition they'd been led to expect. Tanks were being hit, often from unseen positions. Worse, the artillery was relentless. Tree bursts, shells timed to explode above the ground, rained shrapnel down on infantry, turning cover into death traps. In a letter salvaged from a fallen grenadier, dated June 8th, the desperate words were scrawled. "The Tommies fight like devils. Their artillery is simply devastating. We are losing men and machines at an alarming rate." A grim realization dawned on the men of the Hitlerjugend. By June 9th, the psychological toll began to manifest. The promised Luftwaffe support was a myth. The skies belonged to the Allies. British and Canadian fighter bombers, especially the menacing Typhoons, hunted German armor with chilling efficiency. Moving tanks in daylight became a suicidal endeavor. Radio logs intercepted by Allied forces reported constant pleas for air cover and intelligence on enemy positions, pleas that went unanswered. SS Sturman Willi Kauer, a veteran of the Eastern Front transferred to the 12th SS, remarked in his memoirs, "We were being systematically picked apart. Every road, every tree line felt observed. Their vaunted armored spearhead was being blunted, not by a single blow, but by 1,000 cuts." The battle for Carpiquet Airfield, a crucial objective west of Caen, exemplified this brutal shift. From June 7th to 9th, Canadian and British forces held firm, despite repeated, often suicidal, attacks by the 12th SS. The young SS men, in their relentless but often tactically unsound assaults, suffered appalling casualties. According to later interrogation reports from captured SS personnel, the constant shelling and air attacks meant they couldn't move during daylight hours without heavy losses. One captured Panzer Grenadier lamented, "We were told they were weak, but they fight like lions and have endless shells." The youthful zeal was still there, but it was now laced with an undeniable undercurrent of fear and bewilderment at the sheer, overwhelming material superiority of their adversary. Within those crucial 96 hours, the 12th SS Panzer Division Hitlerjugend did not cease to exist, but its offensive capabilities were irrevocably shattered. The vision of a rapid, decisive counterattack had evaporated under a hail of steel and fire. Their elite status, built on fanaticism and modern equipment, proved insufficient against a combination of overwhelming air superiority, devastatingly accurate artillery, and determined, well-equipped infantry. Logistical breakdowns, exacerbated by constant air interdiction, meant fuel and ammunition were scarce and replacement tanks a pipe dream. For Benno Heisig and countless others, the war had abruptly transformed. The initial contempt for the soft Western Allies had been replaced first by confusion, then by a grudging respect, and finally a creeping fear. They were not facing a foe to be easily pushed aside. They were facing an industrial war machine that devoured men and tanks with horrifying efficiency. The nightmare for the 12th SS had only just begun,